North Korean leader Kim Jong-un has not been seen in public for weeks amid rumors that he's gravely ill. A train likely belonging to him has reportedly been spotted near his compound in the eastern city of Wonsan, but the North Korean media has not yet said anything to address the speculation.
U.S.-based North Korea monitoring website 38 North announced Saturday, based on satellite pictures, that a train likely belonging to Kim Jong-un has been parked near his compound in the eastern city of Wonsan since at least last Tuesday. It said the train was not present on April 15th, but was present on both April 21st and 23rd. 38 North noted, however, that the train's presence does not prove that Kim is there. As for rumors about Kim's health, the Japanese magazine Shukan Kendai reported Saturday that he is in a vegetative state after a stent procedure gone wrong.
Celebrations on the streets of Aden after a separatist group announced it is now in control. The Southern Transitional Council defying the internationally recognised government, accusing it of failing to improve the lives of Yemenis. The council says strong leadership is needed to combat the global coronavirus pandemic, leadership it says the government is lacking. But the government warns the move could have catastrophic consequences, describing it as a resumption of an armed insurgency. It's yet another complicating factor in Yemen's 5-year civil war, which has been marked by shifting, sometimes shadowy allegiances. The southern separatists are backed by the United Arab Emirates and have been nominal allies of the Saudi Emirati coalition in their war against the Houthis.
Hundreds of protesters shouted "No police, no curfew" as they marched through the capital Mogadishu on Saturday. They say the shooting of a civilian by a police officer enforcing a curfew on Friday night is another example of violence and abuse by the security forces, which they say happens too often. The shooting happened near the headquarters of the Somali National Intelligence and Security Agency. Somalia's police chief fired the commissioner in charge of the area on Saturday, and the mayor of Mogadishu apologised for the shooting.
Boris Johnson is expected to be back at work tomorrow as Britain holds its breath over when and how the lockdown will be lifted. The UK's death toll has now reached more than 20,000. The nation said to be at the peak of its outbreak.
It was a test the UK government set itself.
If we can keep deaths below 20,000, we will have done very well.
Only they couldn't. The COVID-19 death toll climbing to 20,319, a staggering, sobering number, just 12 weeks since the first case was recorded in the country. One side effect of coronavirus no one expected is empty wards. The number of people presenting at emergency departments across England has halved in the past month.
Spain's Prime Minister says people will be allowed to leave their homes for short walks and exercise from next Saturday. Spain has one of the world's strictest lockdowns. People have only been allowed to leave their homes for essential shopping and if work cannot be done from home.
If the development of the pandemic continues in a positive direction, as it is doing so far, from May the 2nd, going out for individual physical activity and walks with people with whom we live will be allowed. However, always under conditions laid down by the health authorities.
Italy celebrated Liberation Day on Saturday. This year is the 75th anniversary of the end of fascism in both Italy and Germany, as their respective dictators Benito Mussolini and Adolf Hitler were overthrown in 1945. Italian President Sergio Mattarella marked the day by laying a wreath at the Unknown Soldier War Memorial in Rome. Normally there would be public rallies in major cities, but the lockdown this year has changed that. Instead, Italians sang Bella Ciao, the anthem of the anti-fascist resistance, and waved flags from their balconies. Portugal also celebrated the 46th anniversary of its Carnation Revolution. It marks the overthrow of the fascist regime of Antonio de Oliveira Salazar in 1974.
And we also want to talk about what's happening in Toronto today, because people did take to the streets demanding an end to restrictions meant to curb the COVID-19 infection rate.
The virus is a smokescreen. It's a hoax.
Now, this rally took place in front of the provincial legislature. Similar protests have popped up in other Canadian and American cities recently. They have drawn individuals concerned about the economic impact of restricting commerce. The Interior Premier, Doug Ford, is not impressed with the protest.
You see these people that are absolutely irresponsible. It's reckless to do what they're doing. And personally, I think it's selfish.
As India observes a nationwide lockdown due to the coronavirus pandemic, many Indians have taken to online child pornography like never before. According to a recent report, there's been a jump of 95% in child porn traffic as Indians spend more and more time behind their screens while locked down within the confines of their homes. Now, needless to say, the internet in the country has become extremely unsafe for children. Thanks to millions of pedophiles who have migrated online, the allegations come in the form of a recent report by Indian Child Protection Fund titled Demand for Child Sexual Abuse Material in India.
Footage has emerged on social media in recent weeks showing racist attacks on Africans in China. African migrant communities have become the target of discrimination and harassment as China strives to contain the coronavirus. Beijing relies on mass surveillance to identify new cases, but many Africans in China have outstayed their visas and can't be easily tracked. That's made authorities nervous about an outbreak within the African population, and they've become easy scapegoats for new imported cases.
A recent rise in COVID-19 infections have led to xenophobic attacks against foreigners in China, where Africans seem to have been hit the hardest, as the Chinese government worries about a second wave of the deadly virus.
Most Zimbabweans are already struggling to put food on the table. These women are grateful for any kind of assistance. Years of drought, rising inflation, and now coronavirus have seen food prices soar. Several families are now eating less. Many say they know not much will change until lockdown restrictions are eased or scrapped in early May. The World Food Programme says half of Zimbabwe's population needs food aid. A poverty assessment done by the government and aid agencies last year found nearly 80% of families in urban areas are hungry. Local milling companies try to cope with what's available. The pandemic has made it difficult to buy more grain from abroad.